They got it right. They absolutely got it right. No more speculation would 3 losses hinder his individual success. No more speculation would someone who played in a conference championship game surpass his overall individual accolades. And more importantly, no more wondering what it would take for Jayden Daniels to win the Heisman Trophy. Let's talk about it. If you are new here, welcome on into the channel. My name is Cole Thompson. I'm a radio show host based in Houston, and I talk college football daily. So if this is the type of content you enjoy, make sure you smash that subscribe button down below. Leave a comment telling me your thoughts on if Jayden Daniels deserved to win the Heisman, who you want to see to win the Heisman. Tell every LSU fan about this channel, plus your friends, your family, your mortal enemies, your best of bros, the drunk passed out guy in a Publix parking lot, your entire church congregation, and really anybody that loves college football. Give me a follow on all my socials at Mr. Cole Thompson. That way the conversation of the CFB never stops. And as always, let's continue to talk about our favorite game. Jayden Daniels of LSU is the 2023 Heisman Trophy winner. For starters, yes, this was the right call. And I understand that there's going to be many people speculating, well, why are we even playing the games if a 3-loss candidate actually wins the award? Well, spoiler alert, this is the one time where the award is not team-driven. This is not given out to the best player on the best team unless he is deserving. This is not given out to those who have found their way to the college football playoff. And more importantly, this is not given out as a team honor. This is about individual accolades on the field, possessing the skills of what it means to be college football's finest player, because you're cemented in immortality in the process. And if anybody who watched LSU football this year, anybody who saw number 5 strap it up in Baton Rouge or wherever the Tigers were playing, and anybody saw JD5 run out of that tunnel and lead his team in victory or defeat, they knew Jayden Daniels was the best player in college football. Numbers, they sometimes lie. Production doesn't. And there's a giant difference in the two. Numbers meaning, well, the 9-3 should have hindered his overall persona as a player, but the production doesn't. Jayden Daniels was the most productive player in college football this year. Take nothing away from Maserati Marvin Harrison Jr. Take nothing away from the spit-swallowing, crazy arm strength of Michael Penix Jr. and the quick twitch accuracy of Bo Nix in Oregon. All of them had phenomenal seasons. But there's only been a handful of players in the history of the sport that have thrown for 3,000 yards and rushed for 1,000 yards in a single season. There's only a handful of players who have scored 50 total touchdowns in a year, completed over 66% of their passes, and been the leader inside the locker room as not only the lead passer, but also the lead runner. Keep in mind that Jayden Daniels rushing for over 1,100 yards would have been good enough in some conferences for him to be a first-team all running back. And instead, he was a first-team all quarterback. A lot of people want to go ahead and turn the attention to, oh, this is an award given out to the player that plays in the college football playoff on college football's biggest stage in the brightest lights. And sometimes you're right. It does belong to that player. But last year, Caleb Williams was not playing in the college football playoff. Max Duggan was playing in the college football playoff. CJ Stroud was strapping it up to go down to Atlanta and find his way into the college football playoff. The same goes for Stetson Bennett. But nobody batted an eye when you looked at the numbers and said the best player in college football is number 13. Caleb Williams is running away with this award. In the same breath, if you take that type of notion, you would say the exact same thing about Jayden Daniels. His production was electrifying. And the whole reason is that when you look at his style of play, there's an aptitude of why LSU went 9-3. And this is to take nothing away from what Bo Nix did in Eugene, or what Michael Penix did in Seattle, or even what Maserati Marv did for Columbus. All of them, exceptional players. But you still had exceptional wide receivers in Seattle. You still had a talented offensive line, great defense in Eugene. And honestly, there were a handful of reasons why those in Columbus could be cheering on the Buckeyes to nearly an undefeated season. Take out Jayden Daniels from LSU. What are you looking at? 6-6, 5-7, 4-8 roster. That's the type of impact a player like Jayden Daniels had. And if you go watch the film, everybody knew win, loss, doesn't matter, determination. The guy was the best player on the field. Every game, he seemed to get better. His accuracy improved throughout the season. Deep ball improved throughout the season. Touch, poise, demeanor, mobility, physicality, the ability to bring back his team from the brink of a loss and turn it into a win. That was JD5 all season long. And then the production is just the icing on the cake. I get it. Michael Penix Jr. was my pick to win the Heisman Trophy at the start of the year. I took those odds and I ran with them. I thought that he was deserving. I thought Bo Nix was deserving. I thought Marvin Harrison Jr. was deserving of being in New York City because of what he meant to Ohio State with an average quarterback, with a lackluster offensive line, and with multiple players being injured. But the bottom line is that the best player in college football on a consistent basis was Jayden Daniels. And so the main question comes to now, well, he wasn't playing for anything. Well, he wasn't playing for the big time games. The key element here is that you don't need to be playing for the big time games. You need to be big in the moment of those games. And that's exactly what Jayden Daniels did. Go back and watch the final game of the regular season. LSU is down to Texas A&M. Texas A&M on their third string quarterback. And then Jayden Daniels wakes up and chooses violence. 4 total touchdowns, finds Brian Thomas twice, not to mention he connects with Malik Neighbors. Guy has over 100 rushing yards on the day. He was the sole proprietor of yielding a win from the clutches of defeat in front of the hometown crowd on senior day. That was Jayden Daniels. So Jayden Daniels proved time and time again throughout the regular season, the award goes to the highest individual who plays the game at an elite level. Check every single box when it comes to his name. And now the question turns to, well, what happens to Jayden Daniels in his future? Well, he's going to go to the NFL. He's going to be a name that I think a lot of people are going to garner, at least with first round buzz. Maybe he'll pan out, maybe he won't. But the bottom line is that in college football, this fraternity, this historic background that you get to be a part of for the rest of your lifetime will shed light throughout your entire career. There are those who are still making names and still profiting off of what they did back in the 1980s. You don't think that Jayden Daniels 20 years from now will be able to walk into Baton Rouge and everyone will know his name? You don't think that he can walk across the landscape of college football and find some bit of accuracy to where he still is an ambassador to the sport that we love? It's great. It's everything that you could have wanted. And take nothing away from the others who were invited to New York City. But everyone knows who was the Heisman Trophy winner. Everyone knew who deserved to take home college football's highest honor. It's Jayden Daniels. There's no denying it. And the best part is, I think now we can put to bed, you don't need to be the best player on the best team. You need to be the best player in college football to win the award. The committee got it right. Anybody who had a vote got it right. And at the end of the day, I don't think many people are arguing that Jayden Daniels belongs at the forefront of every college football conversation. Tremendous win, tremendous accolades. And by the way, before we get on out of here tonight, can we just appreciate what the Heisman Trophy is? It's an hour-long ceremony honoring those and their attributes and their ambitions and their adversity to fight through pain, through neglect, through every accolade and every stepping stone to get to this highest honor. Every once in a blue moon, I'll watch award shows, and I never really seem to get into it because I don't care enough. I'm never that invested. But when the Heisman Trophy comes on, I want to hear the stories. I want to hear about what these kids had to fight through with the adversity, with the trials and the tribulations to get to the finish line. Every single one of them lived up to the hype in some way. 3 of them had to transfer schools just to receive their shot. It's a message to kids everywhere, and a message to college football players everywhere. Just because if you're not successful in one spot doesn't mean you can't rewrite your story. Just because you have to live up to a family name doesn't mean that it can't be accomplished. And just because you may not win the national championship doesn't mean you can't win college football's highest honor. Jayden Daniels deserved to win the Heisman, but the entire ceremony as a whole, once again, was a magical night in the world of college football. Congratulations to Jayden Daniels, 100%, no doubt about it, this year's clear-cut Heisman Trophy winner. Thank you so much for watching that video. Don't hit the X button yet. Make sure you hit subscribe to keep up with all of our daily content found on Just Saying It and anything else that we post on this channel. Bye.